I was on a street corner, happily devouring a kebab, when I saw exactly what I expected to see on Finn's Instagram feed, a photo of Ava, my girlfriend. The caption read, "Your cooking is the best medicine." After all the times Ava had flaked on me, my heart had grown cold. Almost still. I was even considering ending things just to step aside from her chaos. I was chewing on a particularly tough piece of grilled beef when my phone lit up with her name. It was interrupting my meal, and I almost ignored it, but a careless brush of my hand answered the call instead. I sighed. Guess I had to deal with it. "Hello," I muttered. Ava's voice floated over casually. "Hey, something came up at the office. Sorry for bailing again. I'll make it up to you, I promise." I bit off the last chunk of beef and reached for a skewer of grilled mushrooms. "Right. Okay. No problem," I said, trying to sound indifferent. A hint of suspicion crept into her tone. "Where are you?" I glanced at the bustling street around me. This was definitely no quiet, upscale restaurant like the Empyrean. "Oh, just craving some street food," I said, savoring a perfectly roasted mushroom. Her voice sharpened. "You just decided that on your own?" I pulled strings to get that reservation. Not showing up makes me look bad. What am I supposed to tell my friend? Why not just tell the truth? She'd understand, I suggested casually. The truth? What are you implying? I shrugged, though she couldn't see it. Is Finn feeling any better? Her voice faltered, guilt peeking through despite her attempt at composure. How did you know? No, it's not like that. Let me explain. Don't bother. I get it, I interrupted. My kebab's getting cold. Talk later. I hung up and the vendor called. Hey, your grilled eggplant. Perfect, thanks. Garlic roasted eggplant, my absolute favorite. As for why Ava ditched me, it wasn't hard to guess. On the way to the Empyrean, I had seen Finn's Instagram. Dinner time, but I feel awful. No appetite. Don't want to eat anything. That was my cue. I had the driver turn toward the food truck court, a reflex at this point. Ever since Finn came into the picture, he had always been her first concern. Finn, a fresh-faced intern at Ava's company, had gone from "so incompetent I want to fire him" to "he's really trying, and it hasn't been easy for him." I had watched, powerless, as she gradually fell for him. Any minor issue in Finn's life had her running to fix it, while I stood by, helpless. It wasn't for lack of trying on my part. We fought, argued, and yelled. But her excuses were infuriatingly consistent. He's just a kid new in town. I'm just helping him out. Anniversaries can wait. But his stomach bug is urgent, you know how it feels. You sprained your ankle, yes. But he has a fever. Priorities, right? So I had grown numb. Skipping a fancy dinner? Compared to everything else, it barely registered. The next morning, I walked into the living room and froze. Ava was there. That alone was unusual. Normally, after a night like last night, she'd leave straight from Finn's apartment to her office. She gave me a casual glance. Got back too late yesterday, so I crashed in the guest room. I grunted, keeping my attention on my shoes. She hesitated, then added, "You're up late. Probably don't have time for breakfast, huh?" "I'll grab something on the way," I said flatly. A small, almost wistful smile tugged at her lips. "That's a shame. I kinda missed your porridge and omelets." I reached for the bathroom doorknob. "What's there to miss? I'm sure you've already eaten." I shut the door. I had once risen early every day to cook for her. But ever since Finn entered our lives, she had slowly stopped touching the breakfasts I made. After getting dressed, I headed for the door and saw her waiting, face clouded with a mix of emotions. "I know I've been busy lately," she said, "and haven't been around for breakfast. I'll try to come home more often." I offered a thin smile. "Don't bother. I'll take the extra sleep." That half hour of rest felt like a luxury. She watched me, as if struggling for words, then suddenly grabbed my hand. My seeing Finn's post last night, it didn't mean anything. Nothing happened. Don't get the wrong idea. Even knowing about the post, she was defending him. Before, any complaint I had about Finn had been dismissed as petty, small-minded, or a dirty mind, insisting their friendship was innocent. I just smiled faintly, used to her bias. Seeing my calm, she pressed on. "I know you're upset I stood you up, but Finn got sick suddenly. You know he's alone. No family, no one to look after him." I pulled my hand free. "I understand," I said evenly. "Can I go now? I'm running late." She stepped in front of the door, frustration in her voice. "I told you nothing happened. Why are you still upset? I told you I believe you, I said. So, why are you blocking my way? You. Seriously, I'm late. Ignoring her stunned expression, I walked out. When I got home that evening, I went straight to the bedroom to grab a change of clothes before showering. As I passed the study, I overheard Ava's voice drifting out. Just send it over. I'll handle it, she said. It's really no big deal. Just a little work, I can finish it quickly, came the reply. A chuckle. Alright, fine. You owe me a nice dinner for this one. I froze for a second. I knew exactly what was happening. Ava, once again, had taken it upon herself to do Finn's work. I remembered a time I'd asked her to help me grade my students' assignments. After waiting 2 days, I nudged her gently, only for her to snap. It's the weekend. Can't I just relax? Do your own work. Helping you is a favor, not my responsibility. I had stayed up all night to finish them myself. But now, with Finn at her company, a man who seemed clueless about most things, she patiently handled his tasks for him. The few times I confronted her, she would explain, he's new to the professional world. Everyone starts out inexperienced. Were you the same when you began teaching? I remembered that fight vividly. When I mentioned the student papers, she had shot back, coldly. At least helping Finn benefits the company. What do I gain from helping you? We had gone silent for days. I was naive back then, and eventually forgave her after a half-hearted apology. After my shower, I settled into bed with my tablet to watch a show. A little later, the bedroom door creaked open. Ava appeared, smiling wearily, and climbed in beside me, wrapping her arms around my shoulders. You're home. And you didn't even say hi, just started watching your show? I've had such a long day, and I'm starving. Ask Finn to make you something. I replied casually. Her arms stiffened, and her face darkened. Why do you have to bring him into everything? Can you stop assuming the worst for 1 second? I put my tablet aside. I'm not. You just spent all that time doing his work. Seems only fair he repay the favor with a meal, right? She froze, eyebrows knitting. You heard that. She took a deep breath. I told you he's new. I'm helping for the good of the company. When the company thrives, we both benefit. The money I earn builds our life together. Why can't you understand that? Funny, I thought. When I had asked her to fire Finn, she had snapped. Who's in charge here, me or you? I guess I don't understand, I said calmly. But if a teacher at my school were still struggling after 6 months, they'd be gone by now. Ava exhaled dramatically. Fine, fine. I'll push him to catch up. I'll try not to help him anymore. And if you ever need help with student work, I'll handle it. Happy now? She shifted closer, trying to charm me. Anyway, I'm starving. Hubby, how about a late-night snack together? It's been ages since we ate as a couple. No thanks, I said firmly. You were right. Everyone should handle their own work. Besides, I already ate. Just order takeout. Her face turned to stone. She shot off the bed, spun on her heel, and slammed the door behind her. After that night, Ava and I slipped into another silent Cold War. But this time, it felt different. I wasn't anxious, lost, or obsessively trying to win her back. Instead, I was happy, blissfully content in my own company. I wasn't about to swallow my pride to beg for forgiveness, like I used to. A week later, around 9 in the evening, her best friend Sarah called. The message was brief. Eddie, come down to the bar near the office. Ava's. I hung up before she could finish. Her little clique of office friends had never liked me. They considered a high school teacher like me unworthy of a young, successful, independent woman like Ava. Whenever she dragged me to company parties, they either ignored me or threw subtle jabs. Any reaction on my part earned a lecture from Ava about being a bad sport. Thinking back, I realized I'd let myself be treated that way. Sarah tried calling again, but I declined and blocked her number. I turned my attention to finding a new place. The apartment we shared wasn't just Ava's. It was convenient for her office, but a nightmare for my school commute. Early mornings left me exhausted, looking like a zombie. Even my colleagues had suggested I see a doctor. With a schedule like that, it wasn't surprising. After blocking Sarah, her other friends began calling, one after another. I had just ended a call with a real estate agent when another rang. I was about to block it, but the caller ID read, Maya. I hesitated. Maya was the only one in that group who had ever been kind to me, never joining in their passive-aggressive digs. I decided to answer. Eddie, she asked cautiously. Ava's really drunk. She keeps calling your name. Can you just come get her? Ask Finn to pick her up. I'm busy, I said, glancing at the moving boxes waiting to be packed. This was going to be a long night. But it's Saturday and nothing's going on between her and Finn. A loud crash echoed through the phone, followed by Ava's furious shout. Hang up. Why are you calling him? What is there to explain to him? I hung up immediately, sparing Maya further awkwardness. I collapsed on the sofa and scrolled through social media. As expected, Finn had posted something new. Feeling bad for someone. Drunk, and her own boyfriend won't even come pick her up. Guess it's up to a lowly intern like me. The photo showed Ava asleep. I felt nothing. I put my phone down, though I briefly thought about liking the post. By the time I checked again, it was gone. Then I heard the apartment door unlock. It swung open, and there she stood. The woman who was supposed to be passed out. Her face was stormy. Eddie, you've got some nerve. Are you seriously going to keep acting like this? Ava's voice was tight, trembling with anger and hurt. Acting like what? I asked, genuinely puzzled. You didn't care that I was drunk. You told another man to come get me. And her voice cracked. A week has passed and you haven't even sent a single text. In the past, you'd have been begging for my forgiveness the next day. Her eyes, rimmed red, bore into me, a flicker of panic beneath the surface. I've been reflecting, I said slowly, and realized I need to give you space. Asking Finn to pick you up? That was part of it. I'm finally accepting your friendship with him as purely platonic. Isn't that a good thing? Ava went silent, her chest heaving. I stood, intending to retreat to my room, but she grabbed my arm. Come on, let's get a late dinner. A new Sichuan place just opened nearby, she urged, trying to sweep our Cold War aside. I considered ending things right then, but before I could respond, her phone rang. The ringtone, the one she had set for Finn, made my stomach twist. I had once asked her to change it. She refused, calling me controlling when I offered to do it for her. That sound had always been my personal nightmare. She silenced the call, which surprised me. No matter what she was doing, a call from Finn usually took precedence. But he was persistent. The moment she declined, he called again. I raised an eyebrow. You should take it. Ava's lips thinned. No. Dinner comes first. Are you going to block his number? I asked. She froze, then reluctantly answered the call. A few seconds later, her face went pale with panic. Finn, he's got a stomach flu. Go. I interrupted calmly. Ava stared at me. I'll be back soon. You have to wait for me. And just like that, she bolted out the door. Of course, I didn't wait. I enjoyed a peaceful night's sleep and woke up leisurely the next morning, cooking myself breakfast before heading out to see the apartment I had chosen. A few days earlier, I could have moved in immediately. Before the viewing, I noticed dozens of missed calls and unread messages on my phone. I must have accidentally silenced it. Thankfully, none were work-related. Most were from Ava, explaining Finn's condition had been serious, and she'd stayed with him all night, but insisting that nothing happened between them. I promise. Nothing happened. Believe me. Please just text me back. Then came dozens of messages from Finn himself. The sheer number was overwhelming, but they were all the same few messages, sent repeatedly and all disappearing messages, vanishing after being read. She held me and comforted me all night. I'm telling you, nothing happened. You are all alone again, huh? Why cling to someone who doesn't love you? I sighed, typing a single reply. Got it. Stop spamming before you pull a muscle. Then a flood of new messages appeared. Wrong chat. Those weren't for you, Eddie. Just joking with a friend. Sorry, man. I know I shouldn't bother my boss. Won't happen again. Ava really cares about you. Please don't fight over me. After a dozen more, the messages stopped. A new text from Ava appeared, saying Finn was still weak and she needed to monitor him a little longer. I'll be back this afternoon for sure. I blocked her number. Despite the rocky start, the apartment viewing went perfectly. We signed the lease on the spot, and the landlord handed me the keys. She even owned a moving company, and upon hearing I needed help, she arranged a truck and gave me a discount. Carrying the bags I had already packed, I left my old apartment behind without a backward glance. No sooner had I finished cleaning the new place than my phone buzzed with messages from an unknown number. Eddie, you moved out. I told you to wait. Please just calm down and hear me out. I'll keep my distance from Finn, I swear. He won't work with me directly anymore. Please just give me one more chance. I read a few, then blocked the number. On Monday, leaving school after work, I saw her. Ava. All the calm I'd maintained for 2 days vanished. She looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes. She rushed over and grabbed my hand. I know I was wrong, Eddie. Finn was on for all night, and still weak this morning. I just stayed to monitor him. Nothing happened, I swear. She continued, almost pleading. I told him when he returns from sick leave, he's moving to another department. No longer my assistant. Please give me another chance. Not wanting the scene, I led her to a quiet corner. While you were taking care of him, did you notice if he used his phone? I asked calmly. Ava blinked. Oh, that. I asked him to text you. He said you only replied once. He might have overstepped, but no bad intentions. What kind of explanation uses disappearing messages? I asked. She gave a tired smile. He said the same. Just playing with that feature with friends. You know how guys are, clueless. The messages were gone. No proof. I hadn't even taken screenshots. Her face looked heartbreakingly vulnerable. So, can you give me one more chance? I swear I don't have feelings for Finn. I recited Finn's messages verbatim. Ava shifted from disbelief to discomfort. Eddie, I meant what I said about keeping my distance. I really will. Please. I took 2 steps back, calm washing over me. Any lingering affection was gone. Ava, I should have said this a long time ago. I'm saying it now. Her eyes widened with fear. Don't say it. Your company is solid now. Pulling my investment won't cause trouble. Her panic intensified. Why would you pull your investment? You promised you'd never. I expect a fair price. Then, honey, please don't. We're done. After that, Ava started appearing at my school almost every day. I ignored her each time. Once, she tried following me to my new apartment, but I warned her I'd call the police if she didn't stop. She froze, watching me vanish into the subway without a word. Of course, my new address wasn't a secret for long. One afternoon, I returned home to find her waiting outside my building. Her hair was disheveled, eyes red and puffy. She looked worse than she had at school. Eddie, I don't want to break up, she cried, rushing forward to hug me tightly. We were so happy. How did it all go wrong? Her tears flowed freely, but I felt nothing. If anything, I almost wanted to laugh. Please, can we get back together? Can you move back in? Without you, I can't eat or sleep. I finally realize I can't live without you, she begged. I stepped back. I'm not moving back, I said coldly. This apartment is closer to school. The commute is easier. I'll drive you, she said desperately. Rain or shine every day. I shook my head. You promised the same thing when I first moved in. Eventually, you complained it was too much effort and cut into your sleep. I stopped asking. She looked desperate. I was stressed. I was under pressure with the company. I promise I'll drive you every day from now on. I exhaled. Let it go. Ava. What's the point? Besides, isn't Finn nearby? Shouldn't you be taking him around now? I'll make him take the subway from now on. The new Line 5 station is close by. My teaching load is heavy right now. Let's talk later, I said, exhausted by the conversation. But Ava didn't give up. She actually rented the apartment next door. She started waking early to make me breakfast, and by evening, she was home before me, dinner ready, waiting. I ignore her most of the time. She never got angry. On the rare occasion I showed up late or skipped cooking, she beamed as though I'd given her the world. One evening, during one of these dinners, she kept glancing at me. Her staring was distracting. What is it? I asked. She set her chopsticks down and looked serious. I've been thinking. I was completely wrong before. I let stress at work cloud my judgment, and I got emotionally distracted. But I never had romantic feelings for Finn. She took a deep breath. I'll talk to him, give him a generous severance, and ask him to resign. From now on, you'll always be my priority. I'll never put anyone before you again. She looked at me with hope. So, can we not break up? Please? Her expression was full of longing, but my appetite had vanished. If she had said all this months ago, I might have cried with relief. I set my chopsticks down. Before I could respond, her phone rang. I glanced at it. Finn flashed on the screen. I deleted his special ringtone, she said quickly, silencing the phone and looking at me anxiously. Believe me, I'm trying to change. Aren't you going to answer it? I asked flatly. She shook her head. I mean what I said. You're first from now on. Answer it, I said firmly. Then we can talk about next steps. Ava froze, then clenched her jaw. Okay, I'll make things clear with him right now. She never got the chance. Finn was on the phone, sobbing and threatening himself. He claimed it was urgent, life or death, but Ava promised she'd handle it and asked me to wait. I didn't intervene or suggest calling emergency services. She shot me one last anxious look before rushing out. I returned to my apartment. Minutes later, a text from Finn arrived. She still came running back to you, old man. Bet you're mad. Hope you choke on it. Finn had been quiet the past few days, but I knew his silence wouldn't last. This was his grand finale. The only reason I hadn't blocked him yet was to see this play out. Later that night, more messages flooded in. She slept with me. Nothing to say? Too busy punching a wall? I couldn't help myself. Had to tell you. I know you're reading this. No reply? Did your rage give you a heart attack? You look pathetic refusing to admit defeat. Let her go. It's better for both of you. The last message contained a photo, a bed selfie, both of them naked. I just shrugged, put my phone down, and went about my evening. When Ava finally rushed back, I caught her just as I was taking out the trash. I'm so sorry, honey. I broke my promise again. But I've set everything straight with him. He's resigning on Monday. He won't come near us again, she said, her voice trembling. If you're still upset, I can move out. I'll wait until you're ready to forgive me. Just don't leave, okay? That last plea surprised me, until I realized she had seen the packed suitcase in my living room. I gave her a small, calm smile. He won't come near us again. Did he promise you that? No, I made him promise, she said firmly. I told him to stop bothering us. I noticed she had changed clothes, even showered. You were gone all night. Looks like you cleaned up. She glanced away. It took a lot to convince him. I got a little sweaty, so I wanted to be presentable for you. I exhaled. Ava, I really did love you. I love you too, honey, she cried, her voice cracking. I still love you so much. If that's true, I hope you can at least respect the time we shared. I calmly sent her a file. She opened it, puzzled. Moments later, her expression froze. It was a screen recording of all the messages and the photo Finn had sent me the night before. I had captured them the moment the first one arrived. Her eyes went blank, and she sank to the floor, covering her face. He said just one last memory, and he'd leave forever. Eddie, you're never going to forgive me, are you? I didn't answer. Instead, I said, think about my offer for the shares. In the end, Ava purchased my shares at a very generous price. Finn wasn't present at the signing. Ava must have prohibited it. I am so sorry for everything, Eddie, she said, worn and broken. The apartment you're in is perfect. You should stay. I'll move out. I had no intention of moving. The suitcase was only for show. I had resigned from the school and planned to take a break, maybe travel. Ava was right, though. The new apartment was ideally located. Before parting, she hugged me tightly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My shoulder was damp with her tears, but I only felt a deep, weary annoyance. On the day I left, waiting at the airport, I received a text from Finn. Ava and I just registered our marriage. Shame you couldn't be there, bro. I guess you're off on your little heart-healing trip. Oh well. She even said she'd make me the legal rep of the company. Don't be sad, you'll find someone suitable someday. Maybe a twice-divorced octogenarian. Finn was clearly still angry that Ava had paid me a premium for my shares. I checked another notification, a wire transfer. Over $1 million, straight from Ava. I calculated quickly. It was most of her liquid assets. Finn would have to fend for himself now. I smiled, replied simply, wishing you all the happiness, and blocked his number for good. After my 3-month trip, I learned the world had turned upside down. Maya filled me in. After Ava transferred the company's legal ownership to Finn, she gave her old friends, Maya included, large sums of money and told them to leave. Finn, now running the company, hired his incompetent friends, and the business quickly collapsed. Meanwhile, Ava used company loans to fund new, disastrous ventures. By the time Finn realized it, the debt was astronomical. He demanded Ava cover it, claiming marital responsibility. She laughed. The marriage certificate was fake. Her supposed pregnancy? Already terminated. In the chaos, Finn attacked Ava. They fell down a flight of stairs. Finn was left quadriplegic and impotent. Ava hit her head and died before help arrived. Maya called me, voice trembling. Eddie, I know what Ava did was wrong, but could you come see her one last time? I thought of the money waiting in my account and agreed. At the funeral, arranged by Ava's friends, memories of our time together passed through my mind. I felt nothing, like I was watching someone else's life. Looking at her photo in the black frame, she seemed a stranger. All the love, all the anger, all the attachment, it was gone. I bowed my head, paid my respects, and quietly left. Goodbye, Ava.